A while back, I saw someone post online that we 70s babies have lived in 2 millennia, 2 centuries, and 5 decades. And I had to stop and ponder that for a minute to be able to take it all in. But essentially, yes, that is correct. I was born in the 70s, which made me a kid in the 80s, a teen in the 90s, and then came the 2000s, the 2010, and now the 2020s. And I suppose that even at my youthful age, I've seen a lot. Still, I've always had an affinity for the 80s and 90s, the music, the movies, the TV, the fashion, but most especially the toys. Now, I don't know what it is about toys from my childhood that captured me so completely, but just seeing them brings me joy. I'm the type who will watch YouTube videos for hours of people reviewing old toys. I've been known to drive far distances to visit vintage toy stores and peddlers malls, eBay, the Marketplace, Mercari. These have become normal hunting grounds to try and recapture pieces of my childhood. Most of what we go over here on Rewind Toys will be 80s or 90s related, but that isn't to say we won't occasionally step back or forward a bit if something older or newer catches our eye. For example, I know, it's trite, but I'm a huge Funko collector. I can't help it, but only the ones I love. We're going to go over the history of certain toy lines, my memories of those toys, and then we're going to discuss, what some of the current collectability is. Now, since this is an introduction, I thought we might try and start by discussing a few terms you're likely to hear me say from time to time. Now, I understand some of you out there are toy hunters or toy collectors, and you may know some of this, and that's fine. But for those who don't, you may hear me say these things, so I thought we'd kind of go over them. I often say there are two types of collectors. Well, three, if you merge them. There are those who collect for nostalgia and those who do it as an investment. I'm amongst the tribe, the merged tribe, who kind of do it for both, although mostly nostalgia. Now, both have merit, but for the novice, sometimes the terminology might get a little wonky. So here's a small list that might help if you're trying to get into the collecting game. The first term you're going to hear a lot is loose. This means figures that have no packaging. They are literally outside of the packaging, figures, vehicles, whatever, that are not in the box. Complete means it's probably loose, but is everything that originally came with it, all of its accessories. Now, carded means that the figure is on or in its original packaging, like it is actually on card. Mint on card means the toy itself is in pristine condition and complete and is probably factory sealed. It doesn't necessarily mean the card is mint, though. You could say the figure is mint on card, but that the card has some wear and tear. Mint in box means the toy is in mint condition and complete in its original box. Don't confuse this with mint in sealed box, which means it is still sealed like the day it was placed on the shelf. Mint in box could mean it's just in pristine condition and in its original box, but it has been opened. Now, mint in sealed box and mint on sealed card doesn't happen a whole lot with these vintage toys, and it is going to increase the value like a lot, like substantially. This is a problem people have when they say have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle from 1988 and it's loose and they think, I looked it up on eBay and this is selling for $150. Not necessarily that loose one. I've literally seen Star Wars characters in box or on card go for hundreds and loose go for $10 or less. So it can greatly affect the value. There's also just boxed, which typically means the toy comes with the original box, but it doesn't mean the toy is sealed or that the box is in perfect shape. Still having the original packaging, just having that packaging will increase the value in almost no matter what condition it's in. Now, a big one we talk about here is unpunched. Now, this refers to the little chad that gets pushed out of the cardboard for those packages that are hung up in stores. If the cardboard chad is still in place, that means it's considered unpunched, and that could mean that it was never actually circulated or actually put up in a store. That's kind of a big deal for a lot of people. It's really cool to have characters or figures that are unpunched. Now, articulation refers to how the toy moves. Are there a bunch of joints? Are there just a few? Can it be posed? Etc. Now, most of us know what a bootleg or a knockoff is, but just in case you don't, these are when another company takes an existing item and makes a fake version of it. Now, sometimes these are silly and a lot of fun, but some of them are highly sought out by certain collectors from time to time. So, people actually collect bootlegs and knockoffs. A variant is when an existing figure is taken and then changed and released in a limited number, usually a limited number. Typically, this is a different paint scheme, or maybe they alter something on the original mold. These can sometimes be worth a lot of money if there isn't a lot of them produced and they're high in demand and maybe harder to find. A lot of times you'll hear us call these chase figures. Chase figures, again, are figures that are they made a variant of that figure in a smaller quantity and it's harder to find. This also leads to resculpts or remolds. This means they change part of an existing figure or change the design for the next run. Last, we have reissue. A reissue is when a toy is re-released by a manufacturer. It is typically the same design, the same mold as the original, but often things like the packaging has been changed. This happens quite a lot for anniversary editions. These can also become valuable, especially if the original is really hard to find, and these are limited numbers as well. But they do not typically exceed the value of the original. The original usually still holds more value overall. This shows a mint on-card figure, and next to it, a loose figure. We also see an unpunched card and a variant of an original character. So this will kind of help give you just a point of reference. Again, guys, this was just a sort of introductory video to what we're going to be doing here and some of the terms you're going to be hearing. But please, if you're into vintage toys and you're into toy hunting at all, and you're into, like, I love this stuff, so I hope you guys come along with me for the ride. Do me a favor, hit like and share, but most important, hit that subscribe button down there, and we're going to do some toy hunting on the show. We're going to give you lots of information about vintage toys, and I really want you guys here with me, so do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, and remember, guys, when it comes to Rewind Toys, the hunt is half the fun.